the vast majority of us, probably all of us, would give as the reason for supporting the West Indies cricket team the fact that we were born here or we are descendants of persons from the Caribbean. Is that really so? I recall in the late 80s, early 90s, when the West Indies was the dominant team in world cricket. I knows of occasions while Jamaicans and West Indians were in Sabina Park and they were supporting the opposition. They claim the West Indies was winning too often. I have to conclude then that supporting a sport team, and in this case, the West Indies cricket team, it's really emotional. For it, if it was not emotional, why then? Why then do we continue to support an entity that has caused us so much hurt? A few weeks ago, I was at a cricket match. A lady came to the match to watch her son. She left work to watch her son. And just as she arrived at the ground, the son got out. There was a commotion. And I'm not here talking about the rights or wrong of her actions. What I'm trying to make is the point of the emotional attachment. She draped her son and said, "Boy, I leave work to come and watch you bat, and you got out as I was here." Fortunately, the coach recognized what was going on and nullified the situation. I am sure in another 10 or 15 minutes, that mother and that son would be living lovingly again because it was emotional. How many times a batsman played a loose shot? How many times a fielder dropped a catch? And in your emotional state, you swear at the fielder, swear at the batsman, and even contemplate boxing the person. Supporting the West Indies team is an emotional thing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I thank you for being here, and I appreciate your company as I invite Dietz and Andre Douglas to greet you. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning,
Hey, Carlton.
morning, Carlton. Oh.
Hey, Carlton, how you doing? Andre, nice seeing you. I haven't seen you in a while, man.
Yeah. Morning, Chatu. Morning to Carlton. And good morning to the viewers, or hello to the viewers all over the world, wherever you may be at this time.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have got many emails, many WhatsApp messages, phone calls, and even persons seeing me and saying to me, "Carlton, you were right about Shane Dietz." I must say that I take no comfort in that. I would have preferred to be here this morning being wrong about the West Indies woman head coach than the hurt I am feeling that the team did not qualify for the World Cup. So I'm not going to be glorified. I'm not going to be here this morning glorifying myself in saying that I told you so. No, I reap no reward from that. Because as I said, the hurt and the pain and the emotional disturbance far supersede I've been right in my foresight. The team clearly did not qualify for the World Cup. I'm going to ask Dietz and Andre Douglas this morning, have Shane Dietz taken the West Indies women team lower? We'll start with Andre, who was the first to be here.
Yes, thank you very much, Carlton. What I would say, I don't know if it's a case where, well, I don't think he has taken it lower, but what I would say is that the cricket has been stagnated as a result of this. There is no growth under his leadership. You know, not qualifying for the World Cup tournament is a bit embarrassing when you consider, you know, all things considered. You know, when we are being beaten by the likes of Scotland, you know, we know that we're pretty weak in women's cricket. I mean, in West Indies cricket on a whole, but I've not seen the sort of growth that I'd have hoped under Diaz. So I think that under his leadership, the cricket has been stagnated. There's not much growth in terms of the personnel that he has. You know, we know that we have limited talent, but at least we expected to see some growth in terms of the personnel. We know the likes of Matthews and Taylor, what they're capable of. You know, Dutton wasn't at the World Cup tournament, but for the young charge in the team, I did not see any form of growth. So I would say that the cricket has been a bit stagnant under Shane Diaz.
Thank you very much. Dwight, your perception, has he taken the team lower?
I think when we think about Shane Dietz, I think we need to separate the performance of the T20 team from the performance of the ODI team. Because when we break out and we look at the record of the T20 team, Shane's record is not bad. I mean, since he has been there, they have a win-loss ratio of almost 2, which is better than the win-loss ratio over the history of that team. And he did well in terms of kept taking them to the semifinals at the last major tournament that they were in. So I don't think it is fair to say that the T20 team has stagnated under him. In fact, the T20 team looked as if they have pushed on from their average performance under him. Definitely they have performed better than they were performing immediately before he came there to that T20 team. The ODI team is a different situation. Now, let's be honest. The ODI team was not performing well before Shane came along. All right. And he has dropped the ball where that team is concerned as well. Their performance has not really bottomed out, but has fallen a bit from where it's at. But is it really Shane's fault? I think the bigger issue is that we really don't see talent coming through from regionals through to the highest level. I don't think that he has a personnel working on. Apart from Haley Matthews, who else is there? Stephanie has lost form altogether. I mean, in the last tournament, I think she was averaging like in the 20s or something. Since 2022, I think she's averaging like 31. This is Stephanie Taylor, who was averaging in the 40s and the 50s earlier in her career. Campbell is not it. Henry turns up every now and again, but is not it. And he didn't have DeAndre Dutton in this tournament. So, I mean, is it really, really fair to blame him when he has not really had the personnel coming through regionals? And I keep saying that we need to pay attention to what is happening in our club cricketing system. We need to pay and we need to pay attention to the development that is happening in regional. So for me, we really want the team to improve. But based on where that ODI team was, yes, it has stagnated. Yes, it has not pushed on. But I think there are real personnel issues where that is concerned. And if you look at the T20 team, that team has gotten better since he has gotten there. Carlton, your mic. Carlton, the mic.
Thank you. Dwight, as someone who followed the West Indies women cricket team than most in the region, I have repeatedly stated that the team lacked talent. I have pointed out on many occasions that with the exception of Haley Matthews, DeAndre Dottin, on a fit Stephanie Taylor, the rest of the batting average single figure or early teens. That is the reason why we have to be picking Stephanie Taylor, although she's injured. I am not saying that this team is a world-class team. I do not expect this team to beat India, Australia, England. I do not expect we to be beating those teams. My big challenges with the head coach, though, is that I'm not seeing any incremental improvement in the girls. 2 years ago, Ireland came here. We beat Ireland comfortable. They stood no chance of, if you watch those 3 matches, they stood no chance of beating us. There was no DeAndre Dottin. There was no Stephanie Taylor. Scotland have never beat us in our history. What we have seen, Bangladesh, who we beat 3-0 comfortable out here just a few months ago. Those teams are either now beating us or competing with us. And that is where my big challenge is with the coach. He has not improved the team.
But Carlton, split it along the teams. Is your opinion of Shane the same where the T20 team is concerned? You haven't addressed that point, because there's no way I can agree with you. This qualification series was an absolute disappointment. Remember, we went to Pakistan, I believe, and did well. You remember that thing where we were wondering how the team would perform? The playing in this tournament was so frustrating. I could not stand here and say, boy, we performed well in this particular thing. But what I don't want us to do is that I don't want us to take a particular situation and color everything and color his entire tenure of the West Indies team. So you have not spoken about the T20 team, and you have not even admitted that team, that this ODI team was not performing particularly well before he got there. All right, and that there are serious personal issues that we should address.
You may come in, Andre.
Yeah, so where I agree that the ODI team was not performing very well, I had expected to see some form of improvement, as Carlton alluded to. You must see some growth. And that is the most worrying thing to me, that I've not seen any form of growth in the performance of the ODI team. So I have to give Shane, he must take the blame where that is concerned, because most of these ladies are around for quite some time, and with them in the team, you'd expect that head coach, you'd see some form of improvement. So there's no way, that Scotland is supposed to be beating us with the sort of experience that these young ladies would have had. So he must take a great deal of blame for the lack of performance or for the non-qualification of the women's ODI team.
I want Shane Diaz's philosophy, gentlemen, is that he's here to play attacking, positive, aggressive cricket. He wants the girls to be ball beaters. Now, here are girls, ladies, who are averaging, as I said, single digit and low teens. That means on their very best of day, when they are trying to survive at the wicket, they are not making any runs. We know of a fact that the more attacking you play, the more aggressive you play, the more risks you're taking, it is more likely for you to get out. For Shane Diaz to take a team with some batswomen who can barely survive, to want them to be playing attacking, aggressive cricket. And he doesn't like when I say it, but when you look at that team, aren't they just swinging from the hip? I'm not talking about the Matthews and the Dottin and the Taylor. Aren't the rest just swinging from the hip? Henry and Elaine to a lesser extent. Is he, instead of looking for incremental improvement, have he set out a program where the learning curve is too steep for the girls and will never reach there once he's taking this approach, Dwight?
I agree with you. the ultra aggressive approach that he'd want from the women, especially again, I'm going to say in the ODI team. For a team in terms of the talent that we have, you cannot do that. You definitely cannot do that. You can give that directive to specific players. You can give that directive to a Dottin or to a Matthews or to a Taylor. The others, you have to look to try to ask them to stay at the wicket and turn the ball around and build around that. See, the bigger problem I find though is the fitness of the team. We have long pointed out issues regarding the fitness of the team, and I've found that if you have a team, no matter how young, no matter how experienced, if you pay particular attention to improving the fitness levels of the team, I think you'll be able to realize better outcomes than you're getting right now. So I can't disagree with you right there, Carlton. The batting philosophy is an issue. Not paying enough attention to the fitness of the team, I think, for me, is an issue. And I think he has to be more targeted in how he wants to execute this more aggressive approach from the team. I think it has to be placed on the shoulder of the more experienced players rather than some of the younger players who right now haven't even found themselves, haven't even don't have that sort of understanding of their game in international cricket.
Thank you very much, Dwight. The next challenge, the next issues is that, do you gentlemen agree with me that Chinel Henry, Ali Alain, Ailey Matthews, Hafley Fletcher, and Charisma Ramarak are our 5 best bowler in the team? Do you agree, gentlemen?
Most definitely.
Yes, I agree.
Then, gentlemen, would you pick a 6th bowler? Those are the 5 best bowler in the team. Why then do you continue to pick a 6th specialist bowler who cannot bat? And then that 6th specialist bowler in 2 matches only bowled 5 overs. Explain to me, Dwight, the rationale why you would pick a 6th specialist bowler who cannot contribute her age, while the 2nd leading run scorer in our recently concluded CG United Super 50 is not in the playing 11. Explain that decision, Dwight.
Carlton, you're gonna bowl me there as well. I think we spoke about this before, and I have to agree with you on that. That particular approach has sort of stopped me. Maybe Andre can give better insight, but I'm totally with you in this particular issue.
Thank you, Andre. Can you explain why Shane Diaz continued to pick a 6th specialist bowler that bats at number 11, and she's not one of our top 5 bowlers? In addition, in the playing 11 you have Zadia James, who can also bowl, and you have Quiana Joseph, who can also bowl. So those are 6th and 7th option. Why do you need to pick a 6th bowler who cannot bat any at all?
I mean, a lot of Shane's tactics has been very, very questionable. And I think that's as a result, the result that we actually got is as a result of the poor tactics. So, you know, it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of his tactics. And I mean, I wonder how, if Haley or any other person actually had an input in terms of the decision making of the team, because even with the likes of Henry sometimes only bowls like 3 or 4 overs, and it leaves a lot of questions. Wondering if she's a person making these decisions, or if it is Shane who actually, you know, dictates what actually happens on the field.
Okay, Dwight. So it's 2 love. Number 3. Charisma Ramarak, I considered her, and this is my opinion, to be the best off spinner in world cricket. How Ailey Matthews used her is another discussion, but I won't get into that. Ailey Matthews, we have no doubt about her class as an off spinner. Why do we need a 3rd off spinner in this squad? especially that third half spinner, has not outperformed another half spinner who has never seen the squad. But the other thing is that, why isn't it with one leg spinner and a leg spinner like Nia Latchman, a young 21-year-old Guyanese leg spinner? I apologize for calling her country. I usually don't do that. A young leg spinner, Nia Latchman, bowling leg spin, who have troubled all the batsmen in the region. Why isn't she there learning from Muma Alfie Fletcher? Why is it that we need a third half spinner when those two are so good, instead of grooming a young leg spinner to take over from Alfie Fletcher, who is closer to 40 than 35? Dwight.
Yeah, but what thing there is record, his history, Carlton. I don't has she had more than one strong performance in terms of regionals under her belt? Yes.
Nia Latchman have consistently out-bowled Ashmini Munisar, the third half spinner. And the third half spinner they are picking, Ashmini Munisar, is nowhere close to Fafama Millington. Millington is a better off spinner than Munisar.
We spoke about the whole thing about Millington before, but just to your question. Your question was about why we don't have her in the team. I could be wrong. I don't think I've seen a record, a consistent, a strong enough record to force her way into the team to begin with. And I personally now,
who are you referring to? Who's that?
The young Guyanese. What's her stats over the last couple of years?
Latchman, while I do not have the stats right in front of me, but that's something that I have studied over the past 3 years. Nia Latchman have consistently out-bowled Ashmini Munisar. And if Ashmini Munisar is the third off spinner in the squad, why isn't it then, if you want to bring a third off spinner, what about Millington? Nobody can doubt it that for the past 3 years, Millington has been the top of the bowling chart in regional cricket. So why is it that she not being picked? Why? Explain that to me. Why they continue to pick Ashmini Munisar ahead of Millington and Nia Latchman? Why?
The thing with Millington, we spoke about that already, and I think that was like last year we did a program on that, and we're stumped by that. That's fine. But as for the young guys, I don't want to be too rough. I don't want to be too hard where that particular selection is concerned. I think there are several issues with the team for me, and some of the bigger issues I have with the team really centers around the batting and having more players coming through and the fitness of the team. I agree. I take with some of your points, but I don't want to say, I don't want to hit him as hard with that particular point as I hit him with other points that we have made earlier. All right, that's my personal view.
Right, there's a general understanding that the West Indies women team is not a world-class team. We have 5 or 6 players who can be competitive in any team in the world. We accept that. We accept that a number of our batsmen are averaging single figures. What we are looking at here is not so much the performance of the team, but the decision-making of a coach who are just not doing things the way that normal person expect them to be done. He's making too many mistakes in his decision-making process. And that's what I'm trying to point out here.
I agree with you, but you still haven't answered my earlier question, Carlton. Yes. Let's be fair. You still have found it.
I have answered
that. Wait.
The West Indies Women T20 team reached the semi-final of the World Cup, not because of Shane Dietz, but despite of Shane Dietz. I have answered that many occasions. I've said it on many other occasions. It was not because of him, because his decision-making process have been poor.
Yeah, but Carlton,
Carlton, not the quality of the team. We already know that the team lacks quality.
But listen to my point. That team has a 15-8 record on the Dietz. That team has a win-loss ratio of almost 2 on the Dietz. And that is up from where they have played throughout most of their history.
What was it before?
No, I think the overall win-loss ratio of that team is just over 1.
Why you say you think?
Okay.
I know.
Wait, Dwight.
Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. But I pretty much concur with Carlton. In regard to the leg spinner, there has to be some logic. I mean, you're playing 2 off spinners, right? We're 2 off spinners were pretty good. We only have 1 leg spinner in Afi Fetcher. So why not include the young leg spinner for her to get some experience? It is quite puzzling because we, as Carlton said, why the need for a 3rd off spinner when we already have 2 quality off spinners and we have a leg spinner who is in need of experience? But what I think is that West Indies have some, I think that they always lack the confidence in picking leg spinners. I firmly believe that, and I think that the young leg spinner would have been a better option than the 3rd off spinner. So I very much concur with Carlton in this regard.
Yeah, but Andre, I understand where both of you are in, and I don't disagree. But we're pulling a lot of points based on what happened in this last tournament. And we all agree this was just poor.
That's not true. We are not talking, and that's why we're not talking about the performances of the players. We are talking about the decision-making process, and that's what we are talking about. Not what happened in the World Cup. I have made it clear at the beginning that I hope I was wrong about decision-making process.
But Carlton.
Haven't I been saying them even before I went to the qualifiers?
Carlton, I agree. A lot of the decision making that we have seen regarding the ODI team has not been up to par.
Let me ask you this, Dwight. Is Quiana Joseph one of the leading batswomen in the world?
No, she's not.
How can you have confidence in a coach who came out and said that? Let me ask you this, Andre. Does Zadia James have more shots in the West Indies team than any other batswoman? Does she has more strokes around the wicket than any other batswoman in the West Indies team?
No, definitely not.
How can you have confidence in a coach who came out and said that Zadia James can play more shots around the wicket than any other batswoman in the West Indies team? Let me move on here.
Remember that Zadia is his girl, you know? Remember she came into the team under him.
Let me move on.
And I have seen very little growth since she came into the team. And that is my, main problem with Mr. Shane, that I'm not seeing the sort of growth that I expected to see from him as a
she performed better in the no, that's not fair. That's not fair. No, that's not fair. She has shown more consistency than she did earlier in her career. She has shown that. We can't take that away from her.
That is true. And remember, I'm not talking about performance. I'm not bashing Zadia James here. It's not her I'm talking about. It's just that.
But Carlton, I'm not gonna knock. Wait. Let me say this. I'm not. All right.
Go ahead.
I'm not gonna knock a coach if a coach sees a young talent and says this player is one of the best players in the world. All right. I'm not gonna knock a coach for doing that. That's a part of how they get into the head of the player.
The best batswoman in the world.
No. I'm not gonna knock a coach if a coach comes out and. Just listen to what I'm saying. That's a part of the psychology of coaching. You go out there and you back your player. We have seen it in football. Coaches going out there and say, hey, so-and-so is the best forward in the world. It's one of the best forwards in the world. And we're there saying, seriously, dog, kind of thing. So if he's going out there and he's stocking up these players, young players who are in his team, I'm not going to knock him for that. I'm going to knock him for what he has said, the strategy that he has employed. I'm going to knock him with a lot of the decision making. I'm going to knock him with the fitness. I'm going to knock him with what we say where he's putting too much pressure to play a particular brand of cricket on some of these inexperienced players. All right? But I'm also going to be balanced. And while we have not seen performances on the ODI side, and that's where I think that we need to place greater attention on, I don't think that we're being fair in our analysis, in acknowledging that he has done well on the T20 side. It would be unfair of me. I mean, I knock a coach when he's not performing. There's no way I'm going to look at his record and scoff at it. This man is almost having a win-loss ratio of 2 and the T20 style. We need to balance it out. That's all I'm saying, Carlton. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm telling you that based on his decision-making process, and I will continue to say it, the team reached the semi-final of the T20 Cricket World Cup. Not because of Shane Dietz, but despite of him and an overconfident English team that dropped so many catches in that match. Andre, do you agree with what Dwight is saying?
No, I have a totally different view from Dwight, because, as I said, I think the team is stagnated, to be honest. You know, whether it be we did perform a few matches in the T20, and of course with world-class players such as Haley Matthews and DeAndre Dutton, of course we're going to win games. So I mean, is it as a result of Shane's performance as a coach? I think not. Right? So
go ahead, continue.
You know, I do believe that Shane's performance as a coach should come to an end at this point in time, because
you know, Andre, we sat down.
Let me ask that question, Dwight, because I heard.
No, wait. Let me hit Andre with some.
Yeah,
I think it was last year at the Super 50 tournament. I think it was last year. Could have been the year before. That could be wrong. But we sat and we watched and we commented on the absolute lack of quality and the lack of fitness during that tournament. I mean, at one point in time, we were wondering what's going on here. Players were walking. We had a running joke.
Hold on, Dwight, because I keep on telling you that we accept that
there's a lack of quality.
Right.
What we are arguing is the decision-making process, because if good decisions
be honest. Be honest. No. Let's be honest. Suppose he had done all that you have said, and we still lost the way that we lost. Wouldn't you still be here complaining?
No, because we would not have lost that way. Let me give you one example.
No, the quality in this team is
the
surprising.
Quality in this team,
the lack of quality.
But let me give you one example of our poor decision making allow us not to qualify. It's a fraction of a percentage the net run rate came down to.
So
you see, those 4 overs that Zayda James bowled in the first match, and those 3 overs that Cherry and Fraser bowled in the first match before the big bowlers come on, if that never happened, would have qualified even if we lost. Because
I don't do that sort of exotic what if sort of situation that you're gonna pick out 3 overs in a match early in the tournament and say that's the reason why you're not. The reason they even came close was because they put up they were able to make those runs in such little time against Thailand, which I didn't expect them to.
The point I'm trying to make to you, Dwight, the decision-making process of bowling our 4 best bowlers down the back end and bowling the part-timers up front who never get any wicket. If our 4 best bowlers were coming up front, it would be a different scenario. And that's one of the main reasons why
the moment they lost to Scotland, they were gonna be struggling. All right.
I am telling you, if we had opened the bowling with Chanel Henry and any one of Alia Alain or Ailey Matthews, instead of opening that bowling with Zayda James and bowling Cherry and Fraser first change, And I'm not bashing the young ladies, and I want to say that. I'm just saying that when it comes to Alia Lane, Ailey Matthews, Ashley Fletcher, and Caris Baramara, those 2 young ladies cannot bowl nowhere near those 4. And those 4 should have bowled before them in the matches. That's what should have happened. And that was a tactical error again. And that's what I'm saying. It's not about the performance of the team. It's about the decision-making process of the coach. But Andre, you go to you are saying that it is time for Shane Dietz to go. Are you saying that it is time that Shane Dietz should be fired?
Well, I think that, the lack of growth for me is telling me that it is time for this man, for us to move on from this coach. Because if I employ to do a job and I don't see where improvement is taking place, I am going to try someone else to see if that person can give me get me the result that I need. So the lack of results, I think that it is time for us to move on from Mr. Shane.
Thank you, Andre. Do you share that view, Dwight? And if you share that view, who do you think should take over?
Well, I don't share that view, to be honest. I think that he should be given some more time. We have been very clear in pointing out the areas that we believe that serious attention needs to be paid to. Issues of fitness, issues of certain decision making in terms of selection, issues of even strategy. We need to do that. But I'm counterbalancing that against the fact that he has delivered on the T20 side. He has delivered better. No, wait.
Whenever you said that he delivers.
No. I want to contextualize deliver, because we didn't win. That's what we normally mean when we said deliver. But he has performed. That team has performed well. I mean, it would be wrong of us to say it has not. So he has performed well on the T20 side. He has improved the performance of the T20 team, and that has to be given to him. I can't take that away from him. He has not performed as well as we would have liked on the ODI team. Has he fallen off? Yes. Has the fall off has been like absolutely abysmal and ridiculous to where that team was just before he got there? No. The fall off has been there, but it's not been like a huge drop from how that team was performing, which gets back to what I'm saying. Decision making aside, serious attention has to be paid to the preparation of the team and what is happening in our regional Super 50 competition and looking at the talent that is coming through. I think if we should bring in a new coach, we will still have challenges on the ODI team.
Dwight,
all you're saying, Dwight, coming to you, Andre, all you're saying, Dwight, those things cannot improve unless we are making good decisions. And up to this time, it has shown that Shane Dietz is incapable of making good decisions. So how is the team going to improve? Go ahead, Andre.
How is he incapable and he has done well in the T20 team?
No,
I don't agree with that.
No, the point about the point about the fitness of the team, Dwight, and he has to take a great deal of responsibility for that. Because after 2 years in a job, you have not seen an improvement in terms of the fitness. He must take responsibility for that. So that in itself alone would tell me that this man is not the person to take us forward. Because if he cannot even improve the fitness of a team, what else is he going to improve?
He can't even improve the fielding of the team. But let me ask you this question, Dwight. And Dwight, you know that I'm very happy that you are here this morning. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy that you took the position that you are taking, because it's very important to me that what we say here is balanced. And it is good that you are taking that position. But let me ask so that both sides can have their say. And I wish Shane Dietz would come here, but he's not going to come. He's not going to come. I know he's not going to come, but I wish he'd come. Dwight, let me ask you this. Have you ever listened to Shane Dietz speak?
Yeah, I've listened to. Listen, Carlton, don't do this. you have, and I don't want to say this, Carlton, but you have been very good at highlighting a number of the not inappropriate, but not the most prudent comments that Shane Dietz has said. You have been excellent in doing that, and we have heard a lot of the stuff that he has said. So we acknowledge that he has said some stuff that we think wasn't well stated and might not have been the best thing to say. So we're at one with that.
Let me ask Andre this. Andre, you have said that you would have fired Shane Dietz. Everybody knows my position. I think he should have gone a long time. And you would know that he's not on a contract with Cricket West Indies. He's an employee of Cricket West Indies. He's not a contractual worker with Cricket West Indies. Who would you replace him with, Andre?
That needs a little bit more thought. I've not really thought too much about that as to who I would use to replace Shane Dietz. But I just know that at this point in time, that Mr. Dietz should be shown the exit door.
Thank you very much. I have given it a lot of thought, and I have two candidates in mind that I would love. I think one of those two should take over, or probably both of them should work together. One as coach and one as assistant coach. Nonetheless, let us now.
No, I don't. I'd like to hear the names you have.
Let us now go on to another very topical issue. Over the past 3 to 4 weeks, ever since the conclusion of the regional 4-day cricket tournament, there have been a lot of controversy. In the final match of the tournament, in the final round of the tournament, the deciding match played at Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad and Tobago, 2 Guyanese players were accused of ball tampering. They admitted to those charges. However, yesterday afternoon, while I was relaxing, a press release from the Guyana Cricket Board popped up in my inbox. I have uploaded portion of that press release, and I'm going to read section of the press release from the Guyana Cricket Board to you. The Guyana Cricket Board wishes to publicly express its full support for players Veerasamy Permaul and Kevlan Anderson, who have approached the High Court of Guyana in a bid to clear their names following the controversial incident during the recent Cricket West Indies regional 4-day tournament fixture between Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago at Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad. Both Permaul and Anderson were charged under the West Indies Code of Conduct, and based on the documents filed in the High Court, were allegedly pressured into accepting a guilty plea by the Trinidadian match referee, Mr. Michael Ragunath. They were reportedly given 2 options: plead guilty and accept a fine, insist on a hearing, trial, and the referee will impose a fine of 100% of their match fee and match ban. The Guyana Cricket Board is profoundly disappointed with the handling of this matter in Trinidad, and expected a much higher standard and governance, particularly in Cricket West Indies premier domestic tournament. In light of these events, both players have taken the bold and commendable steps of seeking justice through the High Court, aiming to restore their reputation and to ensure such incidents do not recur. That's loaded, gentlemen. Let's start with you, Dwight. Let's hear your view.
Listen to me. I don't even know where to start on this stuff, because I told everybody since the conclusion of the finals that the last round of the regional 4-day cricket competition, that I don't regard the Guyana cricket team as regional champions. Their chances are champion cheaters, but I don't see them as regional champions. Barbados should be champions. How do we have a game being played and a team should cheat Not just once, and I'm using the word cheat because they admitted to the charges. They admitted that they cheated. I'm not getting into the press release just yet. How can we have a game where a team cheats and a team is not reprimanded in some way? How come? How come? I don't understand this. I look back at the history of the tournament and I see that back, I think, in around 2003, when Guyana was charged with ball handling, that they were docked 5 points, see, for one incident. This was a game that had 2 incidents. The second incident happened after the first player was charged on the first day. So the team knew about this charge that this player admitted and was found guilty and was fined. And yet they came out on the third day and did the same thing again. All right? For me, that team had to be docked a minimum of 6 points and maybe a maximum of 10 points. And for me, Barbados is the champion. No, maybe because they're hearing that there's some guy in the Northern Caribbean that's going around saying that he doesn't regard them as champion. And maybe they're realizing that there are other people out there who found this act of cheating to be egregious and unacceptable. All right? Well, that is not our standard. That is not a part of us as West Indians. We have a huge problem with teams cheating. And maybe because they're hearing all this noise that no, how many whatever after the tournament, they're coming out and players now want to clear their names. And they feel emboldened to do this because they look just a few months ago and they saw that there was a competition in the Super 50, a match in the Super 50 where 2 captains decided that they would not play the finals. And they said, what came out of that? Oh, both of them got away on a technicality. One of them admitted in the first place, but the second one got away on a technicality, and the first one who was charged was withdrawn. So they feel very, very confident that they can win this thing because this is the incompetent West Indies Cricket Board. I'm gonna hold a second comment I have to make about the Guyana Cricket Board a bit later, but that's my initial comment on this.
Thank you very much, Dwight. Andre, let me hear your comment on it.
No, first and foremost, what I cannot understand is that we have 2 adults who were actually charged, and they're going to come out and say they were actually forced to admit. No, I'm thinking that as an adult, if I know that I've done nothing wrong, there's nobody on God's earth who can force me to admit something that I've not done wrong. So why would you, if you admitted to the wrong, and then you're going to come back and say, oh, you were forced. That's the first wrong that you have done. Because there's no way on God's earth, if I've done something wrong, that I'm going to, if I've not done anything wrong, I'm going to come, someone is going to force me to say something that I've not done. Right? So I think the Guyana Cricket Board and it is totally wrong, and it is just inexplicable what they're coming out now with. They admitted to, the 2 players admitted that they actually, to the wrong that they did. So at this point in time, I just don't see they have much of a point. And I think that the cases should be just thrown out by the Cricket West Indies.
Thank you very much, Andre. Now, I want to say something on this. Andre made a very good point about adults admitting. And I know that in this situation, the player doesn't turn up by themselves to this meeting. They usually have a member of the support staff, and this would even be discussed before they go to these meetings. So I am curious, as Andre said, why as adult they would have admitted. And what's the difference between 100% and 90% or 95%? Because I think that's what Anderson was found in one of the instances. So I'm very curious, as Andre put it, why would an adult admit to something that they have not done? The second thing I want to say is that this lawsuit has serious implications. It will either mean the end of the career of Kevlin Anderson or the end of the career of the match referee. Verasama Pumal more or less is at the end of his career. Because I don't think that if Cricket West Indies win this lawsuit, I don't think that they're going to look at Anderson again. And if Anderson wins this lawsuit, then the credibility of Michael Raghunath and the two umpires, that should be the end of their career. Because we cannot have confidence in persons who behave in this matter. If the two umpires, the third umpire and the match referee conspire against the Guyana Cricket Board, they should have nothing to do with Cricket West Indies again. If Anderson, and I say Anderson, not Verasama Pumal, because as I said, Verasama Pumal is more or less going through the revolving door. If Anderson, knowing that he was guilty and tried to bring Cricket West Indies into disrepute, and if it is found that he was guilty after going through the processes, West Indies cricket should not look at him again. The third point I want to make on this, if I am the organizer of a tournament and you file a lawsuit in the courts of the land against me, you would not be playing in my tournament. And those are the things that I'm saying. I try to be balanced as possible. I'm not taking any point. I'm not taking any position on this issue as yet because it's in front of the High Court. But whosoever lose, it will be the end of their career. Gentlemen, do you agree?
That's a lot. But I want to start at the last point that you made, because that was a that was a comment that I wanted to make before, that we need to change the governance system that we presently have in place. It is ridiculous. It is beyond ridiculous that you should have an organization, Cricket West Indies, putting on and organizing tournaments, and somebody who sits in the boardroom, who is a part of the highest decision-making body within that organization, is coming out to sue the organization and supporting players who are suing the organization for decisions which it has made regarding the running of the competition. That makes no sense. We saw that happening last year with Barbados. Now we're seeing it happening with Guyana here. It just simply means that we need governance reform. All right? It's as simple as that. You cannot have people sitting on your board, turning around and suing your company because they didn't like something that happened to a team that they're supporting in a tournament that you're running. That makes no sense. The second thing, on the issue of not Verasama Pumal, but Kevlin Anderson, I take a different approach to you on this. He's a very young player. He's a talented player. He was a top batsman, in my opinion, in this last tournament in terms of the consistency of his run scoring and the teams that he scored against. And he's a prospect for the future. I would want to take a more open-minded approach to him if he's suing because he genuinely believed that as a young player he was pressured. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of experience. This, I think, is his second or third year in regional. If he believed that the situation was just such that he felt like he was being pressured, a reasonable case can be made that even if he should end up being on the losing end of this, that this should not signal the end of his career. So I don't agree with you with that. As for the match referees, that one is a bit more complicated. I'm curious if the issue is with the match referees or the issue is just with the whole system and the process that the West Indies Cricket Board has in mind. Remember, we just came out of a situation where the wrong person was laying charges against players, and that was the reason why we were unable to carry the process with Raymond Reefer a bit further, and then they had to withdraw the charges against John Campbell. So there could be a need for a comprehensive overhaul and review of the whole disciplinary system that is in place. So I don't know if it's if it's as sure as you're saying that if it goes the wrong way, either Anderson will signal the end of Anderson's career, or Michael's career will come to an end. I'm not sure about that.
Thank you very much, Andre. Let's hear your view. Some good points that you made, Dwight, and I appreciate those points. And I really hope that, Dwight, that this lawsuit will be withdrawn and common sense will prevail. That's my hope, because I do not think that this lawsuit is in the best interest of West Indies cricket. However, what I think, though, is probably driving this lawsuit, and then this is just my opinion and conspiracy, there's a lot of money at stake, $250,000. And it could be that if the penalty allowed to stand, although Guyana was given the trophy and so on, we are fully aware that $250,000 have not yet been disbursed. And probably this is the first salvo to say to Cricket West Indies, you have to pay us our money. So maybe, but I hope that common sense will prevail in the long run. We are now joined by our Bangladeshi friend, but I'll allow Andre to speak first before we go to him and hear what he has to say about this ball tampering situation. Go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, well, it is hoped that Anderson's career will not come to an end, or it will not affect him greatly in terms of his, for future selection, because I think it's a case where the young man is being, under some form of pressure by his home board. You know that the Guyana Cricket Board has been at odds with the West Indies Cricket Board for some time now, and I just hope that this matter will be resolved and the young man will not be implicated, because I feel very sorry for him. I think that he's just taking the fall for someone else who has some bones to pick with the Cricket West Indies.
Thank you very much, and I'll welcome Wafi Abar. Wafi Abar, good evening. I think it's good evening in Bangladesh. Good evening and welcome to the show. You would have heard about the situation with the West Indies regional 4-day tournament and the ball tampering situation. What is your reaction to it? And how when this situation happens in Bangladesh, we know that for a long time Bangladesh was a one-man band. Whatever the president says goes, and no one would question it. But how do these situations generally happen? We lost Wafidi, and probably he's having some internet issues. So we lost Wafidi. So, gentlemen, I want Wafi is back. Wafi, did you hear the questions?
Yeah, hello.
Good morning. Yes, did you hear?
Morning, Wafi.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good day, Wafi.
Go ahead with your comment, Wafi.
I think even my country has faced some similar allegations, though my country has faced even bigger allegation of match fixing. I think this is a part like match fixing or ball tampering. I mean, ball tampering is something which a team probably does to have a unfair advantage, and we have seen this couple of times. Like when I remember what happened with David Warner and it was, I think, Cameron Bancroft against South Africa. That's the popular one. But overall, what I think is that if there should be a fixed.
So probably today is not the day for Wafi. Gentlemen, the comment, and I want to make it, as I said, I really hope this thing just go away, because last night I was doing a watch along, and those of us who were on the watch along together would have heard me repeatedly saying that I have a lot of time for Kevlin Anderson. And I really do have a lot of time for Kevlin Anderson. He looks very good. And I just hope that some compromise can be reached. However, I maintain, no matter how good you are, if I organize a tournament and you take me to court, you are not going to be playing in my tournament. Agree, gentlemen?
I agree.
That's a FIFA approach. That's the FIFA approach. I think you should have disciplinary um, mechanisms within that tournament that really should be exhausted, and those are the ones that we should explore rather than players taking boards to court. I don't like that.
Yeah, me too. I just stick with it. No,
But
gentlemen.
this whole thing to me, I just think that the player power thing, I can't get that out of my mind. I just get the sense that these players believe that the board is so, in their mind, they're thinking that this board is so incompetent and so inconsistent that they can put anything in front of them and win. Any case.
Not only
you
that,
admitted it, yeah?
not only that,
Go on.
the players have won quite a number of cases against Cricket West Indies over the years. So they, based on history, they're thinking that they might also be lucky.
I put it to you, gentlemen, that a top regional umpire said to me recently, all the teams tampered with the ball. It's just a matter that Guyana got caught. That's what a top regional umpire said to me. Taking that into consideration, how do we go forward?
Clearly, we need stronger rules. And this thing where you're gonna deduct a 5-run penalty, I think that's what they have in international cricket, and I hear our director of cricket saying that they want to follow in step with what's in international cricket. That is inadequate in my opinion. Ball tampering for me is a very, very serious charge. It's a tournament. I think nothing less than points deduction should be how we look on it, and I think that we need to be more vigilant for something like that.
Andre,
but can the punishment given at this level exceed that of the international level? Because if the maximum penalty in international cricket is in terms of the penalty in terms of runs, can you in a tournament say that, I mean, team should lose points? I don't.
Why not?
That is a, huh?
Why not? Before the English county cricket scene, they had a points deduction system. Previously, we had a points deduction system. Why we can't have tournaments where we have a points deduction system, even though it's dealt with differently in international cricket?
Let's move on now, gentlemen. And I want to get to the comments very quickly. So I do not have much to say on this third topic here. Started with you this time, Dwight. Give me your opinion on the breakout series that is presently taking place. I saw someone last night said, I think it was Michael Douglas, said that it's a very difficult tournament to watch. What's your opinion of this tournament, Dwight? And we'll come to Andre shortly.
I'll admit quickly that it just started. I didn't get a chance to watch the first few games, and so, but I'm really, really excited about this breakout tournament. That's just me personally. I think that we needed something like this for players who were not at the level of at the level they needed to be to play in the CPL. And I think it's a good developmental league. I think it's an excellent developmental league. I like how, for one of the first times, I see the board thinking a bit more down the track than they normally do, because we have just assumed that we will continue to play to get very good T20 players. But what I've seen is that I'm not seeing a lot of our players transitioning and being able to play in tournaments like the IPL, which we think is the gold standard, as we did before. So I'm really excited about this tournament. I think that this tournament is a step in the right direction where T20 cricket is concerned.
Andre?
Yeah, oftentimes, Cricket West Indies get flack for not, having programs in place, in order for our players to develop. So they must take some credit for this tournament. It is actually used as a stepping stone for persons who want to play CPL and other tournaments. So I too also endorse this tournament, and I hope that the players will take it very, very seriously. And I hope that we actually see some growth in terms of their cricket for them to advance to the scene of CPL and other tournaments.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's go. Let's see what the chat is saying. Sheldon, good morning. Good morning, Merrick. Athena, good morning. Patrick Lambert, Michael Douglas, Mango Reef, good morning to you all. The champion is saying, my thing, he hasn't picked the right team. I think most of us agree with that he has not been picking the right team. Sheldon is saying, foreign coaches operate on long-term plans. So I did not expect anything to happen in the short term. Well, the thing about it though, Sheldon, we are not seeing any plan anyway. Michael Douglas, and yeah, so do I take this from Andre's son? So let me give you this. Ailey Matthews' great performance is also covering up some of the poor decisions she's making as captain. Her rotation of the bowling is poor and she's making questionable team selection. I think Michael Douglas is making the point that we are hearing. Michael Douglas is making the point that we are hearing that it's really Ailey Matthews who run things in this West Indies women team. Go ahead, Andre. How do you respond to what Michael had said?
I mean,
Dwight, sorry. No, I don't want
to. Dwight, okay.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. You can continue, Andre. Continue. I'll pick up after.
Oh, go ahead.
I said earlier that, I mean, a lot of the decisions leaves a lot to be desired, whether on the field and off the field. And the way that Ailey Matthews has actually juggled her bowlers, it is quite questionable. It's befuddling that, her captaincy has to be scrutinized and has to be scrutinized really, really sharply, because a lot of her decision making, I found them to be rather poor.
Continue, Dwight.
Yeah. I agree, and it's not the first time that we have questioned some of the bowling changes and bowling rotation from Matthews. I think we have seen a couple of matches where we're like, only bowl 2 overs. How come? We have said that a couple of times. But at the same point in time, she's a captain for me. Her game has just blossomed since she has become captain. She's a top notch. She's. I think her performance inspires the team a lot and gives the team a lot of confidence and belief to win certain games. So for me, yes, her bowling decisions aside, I think she's still the person. I don't know whether or not she's the person pulling the strings. When I listen to Shane talk, sounds as if he has a very, very, very handy hand in a lot of the decisions which are being made. To me, that's what I'm seeing. The things that he goes out and he says in press conferences and the things he defends are the things that I'm seeing in the match. What's your opinion, Carlton?
Yeah, so I want to make it absolutely clear that there's no one else that I want to captain the West Indies women team other than Ailey Matthews. She is the captain of this team. She is the leader of this team. The point I am making is that we want to see her improve as a captain. We want to see her learn on the job as a captain. We are critiquing her, not criticizing her. We want to see her improve as a captain. She's an outstanding cricketer. Absolutely marvelous. One of the best in the world. When it comes to captaincy, there are some shortcomings. And I think that this is something that can be learned. She can learn to be improved. I think that she made a number of emotional decisions as captain. And if she can just step back and be guided by the right coach, someone who can make good decisions themselves, we will see a better captain in Ailey Matthews. And that's why it is so important that we get a coach who can make good decisions to help our captain. For in my mind, there's no one else to be the captain of the West Indies women team for the foreseeable future than Ailey Matthews. But we want her to improve as a captain. One of the big questions that I want to ask you, Andre, how comes Liliana Grimman was not selected in the squad, as the question was asked in the chat? Go ahead, Andre.
Um, let me ask you before I answer. Carlton, is Shane the main person who selects the team, right? Is he the main selector?
Based on West Indies policy, the head coach has the final say, although he will listen to other person's opinion. But based on West Indies cricket policy, the head coaches are the all-powerful Superman at the top.
Okay, so there lies the answer. There goes. I mean, Shane. I mean, sorry to be you know you're under very much under the microscope here. So there again, I think that Shane should really take the flak for the non-selection, because if he's a person in charge, he's the main selector, he ought to take the flak for it. You know, so and I think that a lot of the decision between even on the field and off the field has to do with the coach.
Yeah, okay. You know, I have a conspiracy theory here, and I'm going to put this comment on the screen here, gentlemen, because I have a conspiracy theory. Michael Douglas is saying Cambridge giving Latchman 4 overs a game this year in the Super 50 wasn't helping her. Cambridge was bowling 2 off spinners at the same time, which was unnecessarily. Clearly, she has her favorite. Gentlemen, is it that Munisar is loved and Latchman and Fafama Millington, because all three play for the same team, is not loved as Munisar? And then again, as I said, sports is all about emotion. And we go with emotional decision. And so Munisar, who is loved, is being bowled because they do not want Latchman to bowl enough overs, because if Latchman bowl enough overs and perform the way she has been performing for the past 2 years, questions like those that I am asking now will be louder and will be asking by more persons. Go ahead, Andre.
I to be honest with you, I don't know much about the situation with Munisar and Latchman and the guy on the team. But what I would say is that, and I've realized that over the years that a lot of leg spinners are not often given time to grow. Is that, and a lot of captains don't have the confidence in a lot of our leg spinners in giving them the ball. I find that as a major problem in terms of the growth of our leg spinners. They don't trust them, so to speak. You know, they'll oftentimes just give the ball to the off spin bowler instead of the leg spinner. So I think it's a case. It could be a case of both, where she's not as loved, but also a lack of confidence in terms of leg spinners.
But Dwight, how can there be a lack of confidence in someone who has been performing so well over the years?
Carlton, you have been around cricket teams. You have seen the setup. We all know that captains have their preferences. Captains, and some of the times when you look at the preferences and you look at some of the stats, we don't see it happening. We don't see it matching up. But captains believe, for example, that some players are easy to give directions to in terms of what they'd like to do, that they face more opposition and more resistance, that there are some bowlers who tell you where they want and feel, and then the captain don't concur. And so you end up with this sort of disparity some of the times. I mean, it happens. Captains feel confident in a particular moment of a game that he can give the ball to this bowler and this bowler will do the particular job that he wants him to do. And what Andre says is also very valid. Leg spinners generally are a lot of the leg spinners just tend to be a little bit more erratic, and when things are tight, captains prefer the safer option a lot of the time. So all of these things go into the mix.
Rob is saying that we need to look at what causing West Indies cricket not to move forward. Good morning, Rob. And he thinks that it's poor management. Do you agree, Dwight? That is poor management why our cricket not moving forward?
Again, I'm going to be very balanced in this particular thing. And this is what I was afraid that would have happened.
He said West Indies cricket. No, he never said the West Indies women team. He said West Indies cricket.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Sorry about that, Robbie. Oh boy. There are just so many issues regarding West Indies cricket that we need to address that we're not addressing. And until we take some brave decisions, and top of that, I've always said, was the issue of governance reform. We're not going to get the sort of results that we want to get. There's also another thing that I think we should tackle, which is what I call player power. I mean, I see the West Indies Cricket Board making right moves like this breakout leagues. And I can easily see a few years from now that these players will benefit from these leagues and just decide that they will not play for the West Indies cricket team. If we don't have our best players playing for us, we're going to run into problems. So these are some of the issues which we're not talking about, that we're not addressing. But if we can address, it can have a profound impact on the performance and the outcome for our teams. That's just my opinion still.
Thank you very much. So Country Boy in London is saying that Zayda James will be a star for our West Indies women cricket team in the future. Country Boy in London, I hope you are right. And I hope it is sooner than later. But if Zayda James is the only star, it will happen with the same case, or Ailey Matthews is the only star. So I hope Trishan Older is a star. I hope Jabada Joseph is a star. I hope Sunil Shaw is a star. I hope Ashminu Minisar is a star. I hope Naya Lachman is a star. I hope Abigail, whatsoever her name, is a star. I hope that Zayda James will not be the only star, but I want her to be a star, just like you. So I not only want Zayda James, your St. Lucian countrywoman, to be a star, because if she alone is a star, West Indies won't win. Just like what is happening now with Ailey Matthews being an outstanding star. We need 15 stars. Not only the playing 11, but we need good backup. Good backup, Country Boy from London. Andre Athena is saying that Marissa Aguilera should be on the list of the person who should take over as West Indies coach.
That's very, very, very interesting. I don't know of the pedigree of Miss Aguilera in terms of her coaching abilities. So I can say that Marissa should be the coach when I know very little of her coaching pedigree. I want someone who has some pedigree where coaching is concerned. I know that Marissa has served West Indies cricket pretty well, but as it relates to coaching, I don't know much about her coaching abilities.
Okay. Do you think so, Dwight, that she should be in a part of it?
If we're moving on from Shane, I'm being honest. I think that we have to find somebody with real accomplishment behind the name before we put them into that position. I'd straight off the bat, I'd not give it to Marissa. I would be looking for a more accomplished international coach to bring into the system right now.
So Rob is saying, Dwight, that you are biased. He's also saying that there's too much conflict of interest in what you're expressing. But he's also saying that I am with you, Dwight. If there are no drastic measures taken, then they'll continue to do it again and again and again, Dwight. I don't
explain the conflict of interest. What conflict of interest he's talking about? Yes. I like Campbell. I like John Campbell. I want John Campbell back in the West Indies Cricket Board. I thought, but I was on radio saying that John Campbell did the right thing by just acknowledging that what he did was wrong, because I was very angry about that thing in the Super 50. But I don't understand what conflict of interest you're talking about.
Okay. Andre Patrick Lambert believed that Guyana is not playing fair. Is it Guyana alone, or what the umpire said to me a few weeks ago, that all the teams are involved in this ball tampering? It's just who get caught?
I would think. I mean, the umpires would be the best person, because they're on the field on a day-to-day basis, and when things are being done. So, although the other teams might have been involved, but Guyana right now should actually, they are the ones who were caught, and they have to face the justice for face the music really for being caught. But I over the years, I mean, persons from time to time, even players, I've heard players who have said that, you know, they have known and I've seen players tampering with the ball from time to time. So this is absolutely nothing new to our cricket. But you're caught, you should face the music. You should just face a punishment and move right along.
Rob is saying that he's feeling bad for Henderson because he may not have the opportunity to play for the West Indies. We really hope it doesn't go there. And as I said, our common sense prevail because this lawsuit, I want them to withdraw it. Dwight, I guess you agree with me. You want them to withdraw this lawsuit and its seconds out of court.
I definitely want this lawsuit to be withdrawn. I mean, everything about it sounds silly. I mean, for a big, hardback, grown man to be coming out and to be telling me that you were forced. I can't remember anybody taking out a gun either and doing anything. And you were forced to admit that you are guilty when you are not guilty to a charge of cheated. It's not even like you're saying that you slacked off during a game, but cheated. And you acknowledge a charge like that. What's going to happen? People going to start admitting to murder and then coming out, oh, no, man, that's stupid. But I really want the charge to be withdrawn. And I'd like, as I say, I have a lot of time for that player. And I really want his future, and I really want to see him doing something in West Indies cricket.
I want both of you gentlemen to address this, and it's a Linden Ballers. It's saying the courts will decide. You can't name me winner and then still keep the prize money. We have seen in the past, though, even the Olympics, where medals and prize money have been taken back from winners. So there are precedents for that, you know. But Linden Ballers is saying the courts will decide. We notice that this case is brought to the Guyana High Court. What jurisdiction, gentlemen, and I know we are not lawyers here, and probably I need to get a lawyer on the show to explain this to us. What jurisdiction does the Guyana High Court have over Cricket West Indies?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the issue of jurisdiction.
As I said, Carlton, you probably need to get a lawyer now to tell us what will attain in such
However, on the point before, was it confirmed that they would not be given the prize money? Because the West Indies Cricket Board was very clear in the Super 50 incident. They said there is no winner, and they will not be giving out any prize money for the thing. They were very clear, but they have not said that. In fact, they have acknowledged that Guyana is the winner. If they're acknowledging that Guyana is the winner, I don't see how you cannot give them the prize money, especially since you haven't come out to lay any charges against the team regarding that incident. If they had said, listen, this team is going to go before the disciplinary committee regarding this charge of tampering with the match ball, they have not said anything. So I don't think, if they haven't said anything, you have to give them their money.
So I'm wondering if it's a case where that Guyana has probably heard through the grapevine that they'll not be, the money will be withdrawn, why they have actually gone forth and gone to the courts. I'm wondering if that's the case.
Yeah,
you know, because I don't see the reason why they'd want to go to court. Any other reason?
I have not heard any comment that they will not get the money. What the comment that I made is that I know that it has not yet been paid over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this initiation of going into the High Court is the first salvo from Guyana to say we want our money. You know, that's all I'm saying. I have not heard that it have not played. The issue of jurisdiction, and the only thing that I can think of is that if the Guyana High Court make a decision and rule in the favor of the players, and Cricket West Indies do not accept that decision, it could be the next time that a Cricket West Indies official set foot in Guyana, he is hauled before the courts. that could is detained and all before the courts. That could be a situation that faced Cricket West Indies officials. So we need probably a lawyer to say more about this. Jerome Small, yes, we have looked at the breakout session, the breakout series. Dwight said that he's enjoying it and he's glad for it. Other persons have different opinion. I am watching it. I don't have an opinion either way. Paul Goodman is saying that, Mr. Brown, I think you should have a program for the recently concluded Under-15 tournament. There were many outstanding performances from members of all teams. Well, so we could look into that. Dwight, did you watch any of it? Or Andre, did you watch any of that tournament?
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
I watch a couple of the games, but not enough. I'm gonna go back and watch some of the games because I'm glad that it's streamed. But I watch a couple of the games. There's some interesting games.
Yes. So very good. That here's Orlando Paul is saying that I didn't blame the coach. The women didn't execute. Second, a wider issue is this is years now our team is dependent on one or two players. But we would have made that point and would have said that we are not talking about the quality, Orlando Paul. What we are really talking about is the decision-making process that we see coming through. Gentlemen, just before we wrap up, there's just a little trivia that I'm wondering. It's about our local schoolboy cricket tournament. And as you saw, this week that just concluded was the conclusion of the Spalding Cup, which was a playoff between the rural champion and the urban champion. And St. Elizabeth Technical High School have won. But gentlemen, believe me, and I want to ask, it mystifies me, it's just a trivia. In 2023, Stets playing at Stets, their home ground, in the Spalding Cup, as soon as they won first innings against Woolmers, and Woolmers were 21 without loss in their second innings, the rain fell and washed out the match, and Stets won the Spalding Cup. Last year, in 2024, in the semi-final of the Headley Cup, Manchester High School won first innings from Stets, and the match went right through all 3 days. There was sunshine all 3 days. Earlier this year, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, in the final of the Headley Cup, Stets won first innings. And shortly after Stets won first innings, rain fell and washed out the tournament, and Stets won. Yesterday, just this week, Stets won first innings, and as soon as Stets won first innings and Excelsior were 19 without loss, rain fell and Stets won again. Is there something mystifying in Santa Cruz when Stets win first innings? Why, whenever they won first innings, rain always fell, gentlemen?
There's nothing mystifying in Santa Cruz. Stets is the best cricket schoolboy team in Jamaica, and it has been like that for a couple of years now. Listen to me. There was aren't you a Homewood guy? Listen to me. I mean, you thought at Homewood, eh? Listen to me. Think they had no chance of coming back in that game. Stets was leading by how much on first innings? 200 runs?
No, Dwight.
Listen, man.
I'm not talking about...
No, but it's not just that. It's not just that. To be honest.
What's for consecutive...
No, listen to me, man. People don't know this. I secretly bet against Stets every single year and lose money every single year. This team knows how to win. I've seen this team come back from losing first innings points and still winning the game.
Wait, let me ask a question. Yeah,
for three consecutive occasions, 3 consecutive finals,
at Stets,
as soon as they won first innings, rain fell. And the one semi-final that they never won first innings in, there was no rain throughout the 3 days. How comes? What a
Let me ask a
best
question. The semi-final that they lost, where was that match played?
at States. All
Also?
4 matches played at States.
All 4.
And the one that they lost, rain never fall, and Manchester I barely win. Barely win. It go right down tonight.
So you need to beat Stets on the first innings. That's the first thing. You need to beat Stets on first innings, and then you'll stand a chance.
Gentlemen, I just think it was a little trivia and very interesting. Very, very interesting that every time they won first innings, rain fell immediately after. Dwight, give me your final comment, please.
My final comment is that I'd really love for this issue regarding the lawsuit against the West Indies Cricket Board to go away. I really, really want this to go away. I think that there are some issues that the board needs to sit down and resolve. This issue regarding Shane Diaz, again, I'm going to say, I acknowledge that Shane has made several mistakes, and there is definitely a lot of room for improvement, especially in terms of his selection, his game tactics, and certain decision making, some of the decisions that he's making. Definitely think so. And I think over the short term, he should be placed on a short lease. There should be clear guidelines which are set out in front of him in terms of what we're expecting to see. But at the same point in time, I have to be fair and balanced. I cannot be knocking him in terms of the performance of the ODI team and not say anything about the excellent job that he has done with the T20 team. So I wouldn't fire him right now. I would put him on a short leave. I'd give him some guidelines. I'd watch him clearly, but I wouldn't follow him. That's just my take. If he's gonna be fired, we should bring in somebody with a lot of experience and a lot of oomph behind their name. Those are my words.
Based on what the director of cricket said to us, though, on the cricket forum, it is not Cricket West Indies giving Shane Diaz objective or setting out KPI for him, but it is Shane Diaz who is setting his own KPI. That's what I interpreted the director of cricket to say. Just a quick question for you, Dwight. Athena from Trinidad, who follows schoolboy cricket in Jamaica religiously, is asking you which high school you attend.
Now into Cornwall.
Okay, Andre, your closing comment.
Yes, a lot of the success of the West Indies women's cricket team has been attributed to that of Hayley Matthews. Hayley Matthews, and from time to time, with a few instances of when Stephanie Taylor was a bit at least 50% fit, and probably DeAndre Dottin in 1 or 2 of the games. So I don't think that the success is as a result of the performance of Shane. So with the poor performance of the ODI team, I think that the time has come for us to move on from Mr. Shane as a result of his overall performance. So I'd very much love for Mr. Shane there to see the exit door, and we try someone else in that regard. I hope that the Cricket West Indies good sense will prevail where the Ghana Cricket Board and the 2 players and Cricket West Indies is concerned. I think it is utter rubbish, and I think that they should sit down and work something out and forget about this ridiculous suing of the Cricket West Indies Cricket Board, because I don't think it will end up well at all for the players and for anybody at all. So I don't think nobody stands to benefit. So good sense will prevail, and let us move on.
As a supporter of West Indies cricket, as a passionate, emotional follower of West Indies cricket, when West Indies cricket team lose a match, it hurt me to my core. When this West Indies women team never made it to the qualifiers, I was devastated. Nothing, as I said in the beginning, that I have said about this coach can be compared to how I felt. I wanted to be wrong about my opinion of him. For in the end, it's my opinion. And I prefer to wrong every day and West Indies win than to be right and West Indies lose. I prefer that every day. On the issue of the lawsuit, I really, really hope that good sense will prevail. This will not end well if it is not secured out of court. The battle line had been drawn, but we can pull back. We can pull back. And as responsible and mature adult, we can come to an amicable decision. If Kevlin Anderson and Versama Pomal did not tamper with that ball, it was a terrible thing that those two were accused of. If they were tampering with the ball and they are now saying they were not, it is blasphemous for them to do so. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful week, everyone. And I look forward to see you on Tuesday. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. And all the best.